as smooth as Traveler whiskey. You're as sweet as apple pie. Ha! You're gonna get a bill for that one, Chris. Now, Chris Stapleton is apparently sober, but decided to release a whiskey. That greedy frickin' bastard trying to make money off of us drunk deplorables. Now, I'm gonna 100% be okay with that if it's frickin' good, all right? Got the Glencairn out. I also brought some good old Buffalo Trace because this is from the same distillery and around the same price point, so we're gonna be comparing it as well. This is a brand new spanking release. This just dropped. I wish I could say the same thing about my freaking ball. Now I am a big whiskey guy, okay? I've got quite the collection, a bourbon boy, you might call me. I have quite the collection of spirits, including tequila, but I'm always interested when a celebrity releases a whiskey. Now, obviously, it's not the celebrity doing the freaking work. The distiller is. This is marketing, right? This is all what it's about right now. But I would say this is, if I had to compare it to any other celebrity releases I've seen, it's gotta be similar to the Wild Turkey / Matthew McConaughey collaboration that they did with Long Branch, which I did a review on a couple years ago. It was like mesquite bourbon or something like that. I wasn't a huge fan of it. This comes from Buffalo Trace, which is the biggest distillery out of Kentucky. And this is a whiskey. It's not a bourbon. We'll get into that in a minute. I think it's time to crack this. Oh my goodness. Look at the frickin' smoke. Got to get it in the sniffer. Ooh, interesting. I'm getting some dang, I haven't even poured it yet, but that smells freaking good. Holy crap. Let's get us a good pour here. Let's listen to this too. Sorry, I had to keep going. Apologize, man. Been a long freaking day. I've been dealing with this son of a bitch behind the freaking camera, you son of a bitch. It's like I've been smoking for 48 years, god dang. All right, we got it in the Glencairn. This is specifically to just taste whiskey, bourbon. I don't know, man. Gotta love it. Let's get a freaking sniffer. Golly, man. Almost get a little bit of smoke right off the bat. So I get the oak presence, just a tad on the nose. And I'm not any type of sommelier. I'm not a professional whiskey sniffer and smeller, and I'm definitely not great at notes. I'm going to try my best. But to be honest, most of the time whenever I say a note, and I'm drinking with boys around the fire or something like that, I'm like, I'm getting vanilla. And all the guys are just like, I don't get any vanilla. Like, what the hell? That's usually me at the party. So I apologize for for whatever my notes are about to be. But I get a hint of, it's very, I feel like I get a lot of the grain, but it almost comes through hoppy like beer, which is interesting. Almost crafty, like a craft beer or something. That's very interesting. I think it's just time to freaking let her rip down the hatch, baby. Don't disappoint me, Chris. Coming in at 90 proof right off the bat. Ooh, vanilla. Okay, I'm impressed already. Holy smokes. I'm gonna let this sit just a minute. I'm gonna sit on it. I'm gonna just keep sipping it while I talk and give my thoughts here in just a minute. Super smooth. Okay, and now it ain't Tennessee whiskey. It's Kentucky whiskey. Speaking of Kentucky whiskey, in the background, I don't know if you can see it or not, in the background of the label, you get a little map of Kentucky in there. I'm assuming I see Lexington. Traveler Whiskey, obviously he came out with the song Traveler. So that could be a reason why they called it that. It's also blend number 40. Apparently, they had 50 blends to choose from, and Chris himself, this is what they say, even though supposedly he's sober, says that he picked blend number 40. That's the one they went with, and that's why it's called Traveler Whiskey Blend number 40. Now, obviously, like I was talking about, this is not a bourbon. This is a whiskey, which means, to be a bourbon, like Buffalo Trace is their main staple down at Buffalo Trace, and then they also make Weller and E.H. Taylor and a bunch of other big bourbons and whiskeys that you guys have probably heard of. But to be a bourbon, it's got to be at least 51% corn in the mash bill, which means this isn't, or should I say ain't for all my Kentucky boys out there. And I think that this is probably sourced whiskey that's just been blended. I don't know if it says, yeah, it's blend. So it's a blended whiskey, but it's probably sourced whiskey from other places. I don't know if Buffalo Trace manufactured anything. It says proudly blended and bottled by Buffalo Trace. I don't think that they distilled anything of what this was in this bottle, but right off the bat, dude, I gotta say that I actually really dig the freaking nose. The nose is like insane. It doesn't fully transfer to the palate. I'm not getting all of that sweetness that I get on the nose in the palate, but to be honest, it translates good enough. And this is a $40 bottle. Actually, it might even be cheaper in some places, but MSRP retail is about $40, which we'll talk about in a second too. For $40, and as a whiskey, you know, I'm not a guy that really buys whiskey unless I'm mixing it with something. I honestly don't think I'd mix this with anything. Like, I think this is actually, like, for $40, it makes me think, you know? I wouldn't say it's super complex, but it's almost like I've got buttered bread. Like, my wife made pasta last night and we had buttered sourdough bread. It's almost like it's not sourdough, but it's almost like a buttery bread. I don't know. That is very, very delicious. Now, while I'm talking about something else, about not really being a huge fan of other celebrities, you know, whiskeys, tequilas, rums, whatever it might be. I've never been like a huge fan of them just because usually they're just marketing tools to sell a bunch at a certain amount of time. The only one that I've really been a fan of, I've tried the Rocks Terramana Tequila, and it's got a bunch of additives in it. Not a big fan. Probably wake up with a giant hangover or a headache. Trying this now. Tried the Matthew McConaughey one. I tried the George Strait's Código Tequila, which I'm a tequila guy. Some people aren't. It's additive free. I love the Código brand. That's probably the only one that I was like such a big fan of. Let's see if old Chris Stapleton can hang with the likes of George Strait in the spirit game. Two amazing singers and two guys going down in freaking history. Speaking of singers, I'm a singer. I wouldn't call myself an amazing singer or a guy that would go down in history at all unless someone famous killed me in a cool way or something like that. But anyway, speaking of singing, I got a new song dropping this Friday. Check it out.
You can pick a song, I'ma roll the windows up. Grab the wheel while I pour some in my cup.
My boy Hub from the Redneck Soldiers joins me on that one. It's called Pick a Song, and it drops this Friday everywhere. All the stores, all the streaming platforms, here on YouTube. Hope you guys dig it. That song's actually been done for like 3 years, and we're just finally releasing it. So cheers, folks. I hope you guys dig that one coming out Friday. This one already has surprised me. I'm glad that they went with a $40 price point rather than going crazy, and they probably could have sold this for $100 to a bunch of country music fans and made it super limited, and people would have bought them. This bottle is not even available on the shelves where I'm at yet. I think it's supposed to really drop everywhere in February. So I traded a bottle. I had a bottle of Peerless Rye, small batch rye that I had, and I traded a guy a bottle of that for this, which that bottle is a little bit more expensive than this bottle. But I was like, yeah, I want to try. I want to get it for a video. So I traded, and I already had a bottle of that. Big fan of the Peerless. That's how I got this bottle. So I don't know if there's really, I have seen pictures of places that have had this on the shelves. You guys go check your area if you guys want to try it out. I would say this, especially coming in at 90 proof, super easy to drink. This is also 90 proof. So this doesn't really count comparatively. It does a little bit. This is Buffalo Trace, but this is a single barrel select pick from the Stanley Hotel in Colorado where I'm at. So this is a little bit nicer than the Buffalo Trace that's on the shelf. But let's go ahead and compare it to this Traveler whiskey. Same distillery, pretty much the same price point. This is going to be cheaper at MSRP. Sometimes you can't really find it cheaper because sometimes it's hard to find depending on where you live. Cheers, folks. Oh man, that's just so much more deep, darker. You get more oak in there. This is like your younger, like not been in a barrel that long. This has like been aging. I feel like I get more honey in this, like more honey and sweet bread almost. This is more just like complex. Why do I keep saying complex? Is it complex or complex? I'm getting some complex sweetness or some complex sweetness. Which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? I'm sick of being a freaking idiot on the internet. You better cut that part out. A little bit of bitter oak on the end of the Buffalo Trace. On this one, I've heard of people, a few people that I've had try this say this already, that this is like a perfect beginner whiskey, honestly. Like, this surprised me. And I honestly, like, I haven't heard like a bunch of negative things on it, but like, I've heard just people be like, but I'm like, dude, it's a $40 bottle of whiskey. Like, right now it's super limited. Like, not a lot of people can find it. And there's, secondary on the internet. This is going for like over $100. But trust me, like in the next couple weeks, I'm sure this is going to be all over the place. It is a limited run, I'm pretty sure. I don't know for a fact. I didn't read the back. I think it's a limited run. They might keep it around as another 40, spit it out. They might keep this around just like Wild Turkey did with Long Branch, which I'd be happy to see. This is like a good whiskey. Like, this is a good gift whiskey. Like, I wish this came out before Christmas because I know a few guys that I could have got this as a gift for. Very good. When I have to compare the two, I would buy both for separate reasons. Like, if I saw these on the shelf, obviously Buffalo Trace is a staple. I'm not a super sweet bourbon guy. I lean towards high rise. I lean towards rise. I lean towards like toasted char and things like that. These two are very, very sweet, but honestly, like, I don't have a bad thing to say about either of them, especially for their price points. Like, pretty gosh dang good for $40 right here. I've been sitting here trying to like taste it just a little bit more. I haven't seen anybody else get this, and maybe it's just because the first pour, I don't know. I get a tad bit of smokiness to it. I get like kind of confectionery sugar a little bit too. I get like buttered bread. Oh, I just want to punch you in the face right now, Margaret. I don't know what that was about. God dang, I think it's pretty fucking good though, dude. I just made up a new word, fracking. God dang, it's fracking good, dude. For a $40 bottle of whiskey, for $40, it's pretty gosh dang good. I don't got a bad word to say about it, son. Speaking of bucks, if you guys want to save some bucks, dude, go over to outlawmerch.com right now, all right? We have our t-shirts up and our freaking hats up for only $9.99 right now. All of them on the website. Biggest sale we're ever freaking doing right now. Outlawmerch.com. Link is in the description box below. That's like 75% off. Holy dick. Not even mad about it. Not even freaking mad about it, dude. Hey, Traveler Whiskey, Chris, even though you might be sober, you produced a good whiskey, bud. Or your PR people or whatever. Freaking, I don't know how this crap works, man. It's like when I learned that wrestling wasn't even real. Oh, shit. Sorry, you okay? You okay?
It's still real to me, damn it!
My name is Outlaw, and I'm out. Keep it freaking here, man!
You can pick a song, I'ma roll the windows up. Grab the wheel while I pour some